And welcome back, my little chicken and chickadees, to the Rotisserie Chicken Podcast. I'm joined with, as always, the lovely, the chickeness, Anna, the big chick, Lecky.
Hello, and I'm with Jacob Worthington, who is my confidant, my partner, and he is here to explore the world together as a union.
As a union. 407 podcasts ago, this great union started a Rotisserie Chicken Podcast, and here we are.
Yeah, and we like to rotate with our chickadees on ideas and humanity and fun happenings and unique psychology and history, and it's a little bit of a catch-all, but we do like to have fun here, right?
I just wanted you to just keep going, and we like to discuss, food, sleeping, not sleeping, exercise, not exercising, being alive, being dead, and it's just the whole podcast of you listing everything that exists.
Just list all 28 of our episodes so far.
That's generally our topic structure.
Yeah, we do like to explore.
So today we're going to cover one of the nicest fine dining establishments the world has ever known.
Which is?
Waffle House. The American dream incarnate.
Wow. So for those of you who might not be Southern, you might not really have a understanding of the majesty that is Waffle House, but in the South, Waffle House is where everyone ends up after midnight, a few drinks in them, when you get hungry and you go and you get smothered, covered, capped hash browns. You get a waffle with extra butter and syrup. It's just been a staple for us growing up in Georgia, and it's a famous place. And one of my favorite things about Waffle House, just to add before we get started, is they're everywhere. They're literally everywhere. And I remember when we were in Alabama, we were driving around and we literally saw 2 Waffle Houses across the street from each other. You remember?
There's a place here in Georgia where there are 3 Waffle Houses. Like, you can see the other 2 Waffle Houses from the Waffle House.
I mean, what's the logic there? I guess the demand is just greater than the supply.
The demand is high. I've definitely been to a Waffle House. They have to put a
Waffle House everywhere.
I've definitely been to a Waffle House many a time where it's like packed out the door.
Yeah.
So it would make sense to put another Waffle House there.
Yeah.
So
Waffle House, Waffle Neighborhood.
So again, like Anna said, Waffle House is a American restaurant chain, a 24/7 diner that was originally founded in 1955, and the first one was right here in Atlanta, Georgia, in Avondale Estates, which is one of Anna's favorite neighborhoods.
Correct. We're not too far.
The original Waffle House was sold in like the 1970s and then rebought and turned into a Waffle House museum.
We drive by that museum a lot.
Yeah. You can go there and you can see, and I will guarantee you it does not talk about a single one of the stories we're going to talk about today.
But do you think it should? Because what's the lore of a Waffle House if it's not scandalous?
There should honestly be an entire wing dedicated to these kind of stories, because that's what make Waffle House Waffle House.
I couldn't agree more.
Do you remember, I think one of the best stories that encapsulate, let me do this one more time. One of the best stories that stories.
We're about to fire him and get a new co-host. I'm just going to say.
I think one of the best stories that encapsulates the Waffle House genre is the one where the fight broke out and someone threw a chair at the Waffle House waitress and she just stiff-armed it straight to the ground and was like, bring it on.
I think to be a Waffle House waitress, you have to train MMA for at least 3 years, and then you have to go to jail for like 1 year to get...
They recruit straight out of the military or prisons.
To get street cred. They have to make sure that you can defend yourself and lay down the law if you need to.
Well, the internet dubbed her the Waffle House Wendy.
Wow.
So, Waffle House Wendy, if you're out there, shout out. Anyway, let's begin. I want to start off by saying that, there are a lot of Waffle House stories that end in murder. Robbers shoot people, customers shoot robbers, employees shoot customers, customers shoot employees.
Mm.
We're not going to talk about any of those. All of our stories, everybody lives. So
there were a lot of people that died.
There are so many stories of people die.
So many people have died in a Waffle House.
So many people have died in a Waffle House.
Was it mostly shootings?
There are so many people, and there are so many modalities of murder that happen at a Waffle House. And we're going to avoid those because we're going to try to stay positive here today. So there are some dangerous ones, but everybody turns out fine.
Okay.
So we're going to start off by talking about how, according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and these are quick, these are short, they're not a lot of in-depth. Usually people don't do great research into these, so these are more just like headlines. But according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, a woman named Jennifer Nicholson became completely belligerent for reasons unknown in Kennesaw, Georgia. Shout out Kennesaw, Georgia.
Is this all in Georgia?
A lot of it is in Georgia.
Oh,
a lot of it is
no.
in Georgia. And then she stripped completely naked and started throwing plates of food at other customers, broke a window, and then punched a woman in the face and broke her nose.
Oh my God.
She was very quickly arrested and charged with assault and disorderly conduct.
Do you think she was in psychosis or something?
A lot of these stories, they don't go into great detail about like exactly what happened. It's just like, or like why something happened. It just happened, and then it's like a blurb or a headline. No one's really trying to break down why this lady's doing what she's doing.
Oh my God.
I know. The next one I found was 2 employees were styling their hair with equipment at the Waffle House.
Ew, like in the cooking area?
Yeah, so a customer posted a Facebook video that went viral in Forest City, Arkansas. Thank God, not Atlanta. And employees were dipping their hair in water, like boiling pots of water that they had been using to prepare food to then like style their hair. What would you do if someone was like, you were like, let me get 2 hard-boiled eggs, and they're like, these are fresh out the pot, and they scoop them, and then the lady just starts to dip in her hair.
Okay, let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing, well, there's actually a lot, but one of the things that disgusts me the most, and I mean will ruin my day, is if I go to a restaurant or get takeout and there's hair in it. Oh, you know that feeling, Jacob? When you're like, it like ruins the whole meal. Doesn't it?
I just pick it off and throw it off to the side. It doesn't bother me that much, to be honest. It's making Anna gag legitimately.
That's probably really gross to have on camera as well.
This isn't that bad, but apparently in North Carolina, a waitress got a $1,000 tip from a customer. And then Waffle House was like, nah, we don't do that here, and refunded the tip back to the lady.
How is that legal?
They were just like, we don't let people tip that much. I guess it was some type of formatting issue, but apparently the waitress got into contact with the person who tipped her, and that person wrote her a personal check.
That's so great. Yeah, I would say, hey, slip me that on the low, my guy.
I would be so mad if I got a $1,000 tip and then the restaurant was like, nah, you're good.
I might quit.
Well, I saw another article that said Waffle House just raised their servers' wages to $3 an hour. So that's pretty sick.
So, okay. It's just everything needs to be exploded is what I've determined.
Apparently, another story from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, a 43-year-old former White House server, Sarah Evans, allegedly added methamphetamine to her 37-year-old male co-worker's drink in a Georgia restaurant.
Yikes.
Yep. Evans was immediately terminated and then arrested for an aggravated battery and possession of a controlled substance.
Was their thought process that he wasn't moving fast enough?
I have no idea. I wish people would dive deeper into these stories to find out what happened, but they're just like, like what was going on rather than what just happened.
I'm just trying, maybe he just was, not holding up his end of the deal.
Maybe he was. I mean, I have.
Because you gotta move quick. You see them on the line. They're shouting stuff, moving. They got 3 million things in their hands.
I have worked with people that I was like, I wish this person was taking
Same.
methamphetamines. a lot of coworkers, they'll like go out. A lot of restaurant workers go out and smoke weed and then come back, and they're completely useless.
Yeah, I mean, I think inherently though, methamphetamines won't automatically make you better at your job.
You're probably right.
You could beat and kill everybody.
You're probably right.
You know.
Moving on.
Unless you're like a appliance, deconstructor or something like that, where your job is just break down appliances.
Yeah, I just smash things. That's what I do. Is I just smash things. It's like, what really gets you through the day? It's like a whole bucket of methamphetamines. All right, we're back in Sandy Springs, Georgia.
Oh man, Georgia.
A 36-year-old man named Bashir Rashid, I hate to be blowing these folks up, but described as being incoherent by an onlooker, got out of his car, peed on the front door of the restaurant, and attempted to walk inside. When he was prevented by entering the Waffle House by an employee, he got back in his car and was arrested for indecent exposure.
You just had to pee-pee.
People like to whip their wangs out at the Waffle House. It's a big get naked place.
You just had to pee-pee. What's wrong with it?
Oh man, God, we're just gonna assume all these are Georgia. But this, in Augusta, Georgia, an air conditioning repairman found a man living on the roof of a Waffle House. No one is for sure how long, but he had to be taken to the hospital because of dehydration.
On the roof.
Mm-hmm. On the roof.
Was there coverings for shelter?
No, Waffle House is like a flat. I think he may have like built a little cubby and had just been sneaking up there.
All right.
The article goes on to say that IHOP solved this problem long ago by having slanted roofs.
Specifically to avoid the homeless.
I don't know. That's what it made it sound like. I was wondering, is like breakfast spots like the spot to live? Nestle like a little sweet bird on the rooftop of a
No, I say no because people are going to be there early.
Those places are usually 24 hours.
That's worse. Like STFU. You know what I mean?
This one's called Sausage Biscuit Man. And I guess the price of sausage biscuits went up 50 cents. And after seeing a charge raised to $1.50, Mitchell Feinberg, 39, started destroying and shattering the door in the restaurant. He's just like, oh, $1.50? And he's like, God dang.
I want to judge it, but I have absolutely had those moments, at least inside my head. You know when you've just hit your last straw?
Mm-hmm. That's how I feel whenever someone gives me a paper straw. I'm just like, a paper straw? And I just destroy it.
You just took that last straw thing seriously.
That's the last straw. I don't know what to tell you. We're going to get into some Reddit stories towards the end.
Yay, too. Reddit.
This is called the Waffle House Jerk. Apparently, employee filmed a fellow coworker masturbating inside the Georgia restaurant out in the open. Emmanuel Williams, 36, wanted in connection.
Name dropping these guys.
If you didn't want to do it, if you didn't want people to know, you shouldn't have done it. You shouldn't have done it. I guess they were on the search for that guy. I don't know if they ever found him.
Was he was an employee?
Yeah.
And I guess he just quit after that.
I think he ran away.
But because he jerked it?
He jerked it.
Because he joinked his penis?
He yoinked his penar in the Waffle House.
I'd run away too.
Do you think he ran away?
See you later, suckers.
Do you think he ran away yoinking it?
No, that's actually biologically hard to do.
You can do it.
It's the ambulation
gets in the way of yoinking.
It's just the whole, force and the physics of it all wrong.
All right, here's some Reddit stories. It was posted like, what was the weirdest thing you saw while at a Waffle House? And this is an employee saying a naked dude brought in a bucket of his own chicken into the restaurant and then whipped out a container of liver and onions smothered in maple syrup. He rubbed the fried chicken on his armpits and then ate the livers and onions at the table. And then the end of the comment says, freaking weird, man.
Okay. The world is a weird place, huh?
Yeah.
It's just, you ever just really get to the point where you're just overanalyzing everything and you just think that maybe none of it's even real?
I think I've definitely...
To start with, maybe?
I've spent a lot of time at Waffle Houses looking around and being like, this is a video game. You know what I mean? Like, this is not... Like, in Atlanta, you'll see people who are just, like, come in and, like, full crazy get up, wilding out, and they'll just, like... The thing that I love about a Waffle House is it unites so many people. You'll see people coming out of, like, a hip-hop or country music, or people who are, like, getting off work or going into work. It's just like the true melting pot.
Well, what do you think it is about the Waffle Houses? Do you think they're portals?
I was literally about to say, I think they're all resting on ley lines. I think they're vector points for I think it's because they're open 24/7. And something...
But IHOP is.
I don't know. Some of IHOPs are.
Maybe, yeah. I know the ones that where we're from were.
I'll tell you this. I know that the Waffle Houses in, like, downtown Atlanta, the ones around us, they lock the doors at, like, 11:30. You have to get your food through a little window.
Yeah, that is true. Probably because they read the news, Jacob. Everything's in Georgia. If I were a Waffle House, I would lock every door in.
You know what's crazy is half these stories that somebody was like, something crazy happened. Waffle House was just like, get back to work. They're like, it's like, my coworkers are all fired for being naked.
Jimmy just got shot 3 times in the dining room.
He's like, well, then mop it up.
I need 3 Captain Smothered. I need 2 cheese and onions. They just start shouting orders at you. You gotta be hardcore to work at Waffle House, man.
All right, here's one.
All right.
I used to frequent a Waffle House on North Avenue in Atlanta down the street from Murder Kroger.
Mm-hmm.
For non-native Atlanteans, there used to be a Kroger called Murder Kroger because, you guessed it, everyone would get murdered in the parking lot. I will say that it's since been gentrified, and it's probably the nicest Kroger in the entire state.
Which is so classic Atlanta, too.
To just kind of bulldoze over like a murder monument and then gentrify it into this like trendy indie area.
Yeah.
So he was outside of the Murder Kroger because there used to be a world famous punk venue there. It had so many fights, people vomiting on the floor, but he was at the Waffle House, and I guess there was also a transgender sex worker there who started beating up, as it says, beating the living shit out of a John, trying to rip her off, and she was screaming, "You forgot I got a dick, bitch."
So this was at a Waffle House?
Yeah. I guess it was in a parking lot or something, but that's so funny, trying to rip off a transgender prostitute, and then she's like, you do know that I could beat you up, right?
Honestly, I love that. That is so badass. The voice automatically got super deep. You forgot I got a deep, and just... That's badass.
I'm gonna be real with you. I think this is the most Atlanta thing I've ever read in my entire life.
Yeah.
Murder Kroger.
I don't know. When T.I. tried to talk that dude off the ledge from killing himself, that was pretty Atlanta.
That's true. But if that dude was a transgender woman, I think that would be the most Atlanta thing I've ever heard. What's this one? Oh, this one. Okay, so we're somewhere else with this one. This says that on the 3rd shift, a very busy night, 2 people were fighting. One person locked themselves in a restroom. The other person went outside, got in their car, and rammed the building where the restroom is. Which is such a boss move. Like, what an ingenious. You're like, all right, how am I going to get to him? It's like, well, that wall. I could get through that wall with a car.
Talk about vengeance.
It goes,
that is the right kind of vengeance.
It goes on to say that now if you look at the store, that area has different colored bricks from where it was, like, repaired. That's attempted murder, right?
And somebody should just come and spray paint. When Shonda slept with my man, that son of a... Monument to Shonda being a bitch.
See, I want to know what the arguments were about.
Probably something like that. Would you, hey, if I cheated on you and you found out in a Waffle House and then the guy I cheated on you with was inside that Waffle House, but he locked himself in the bathroom, would you ram the outside wall? Would you try to cave in the restroom on him?
Yeah, I think so. I would just wait for him to. I'd wait for him to leave.
What if he doesn't?
He's got to. You can't live in a Waffle House. You gotta smoke him out.
You like a hornet's nest.
So this one is apparently a 41-year-old man became extremely angry when his server told him that the restaurant's pies were frozen and not available. And his response was to threaten her at knife point and hold her hostage until the police came. And
I thought you were gonna say until the pies thawed.
He's like, we're sitting here, you and me, till those things are fully thawed. But he also struck an arresting officer, so I'm sure he is in jail for a long time.
Jesus.
Okay, so this is what I'll say. Another thing that makes Waffle House uniquely positioned to have these events. A lot of people are on their last leg at a Waffle House. A Waffle House, I will say, a lot of moments of my darkest times, I'm like, at least I've got like $6.75 and I can go at 4 a.m. and get an all-star breakfast.
I bet it's gotten more expensive, but yes, I see your point. Honestly, Waffle House's social media and corporate structure is actually really good.
I will say that Waffle House does not endorse any of these stories. These are not what you're going to find on wafflehouse.com.
How much did you say it was?
I think at one point in time it was $6.75.
It's now between $11.30 and $11.60.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, this place has it at $13.10.
Damn.
So, inflation, my guy.
You know what we used to do? There was a Waffle House in, again, Georgia, where we lived in high school. And me and my buddies, anytime we were walking by or even driving by or just wanted to, we would go to that Waffle House and drop like several quarters in the jukebox and play the thong song like 5 times in a row. We would just leave. We would just go in, put the thong song on like 6 times and then just leave.
You are absolute menaces. Actually, that's a good song.
That thong, the thong, thong, thong.
I like it wherever you go. Let me see that booty go.
Baby. That thong, the thong, thong, thong.
Our ADHD is too bad.
All right. Moving along. What was after Sausage Biscuit Man? An intoxicated couple left Waffle House, went into their car in the parking lot, and started having sex. Mm-hmm. Actually, it doesn't say in their car. It just says in the parking lot.
They got their hash browns stuffed.
When they were caught, the police showed up. And I guess apparently the woman tried to put a cheeseburger on like it was a sandal.
What?
It says cheeseburger sandal. It says the woman tried to put a cheeseburger on her foot as a sandal.
Like after coitus?
While she was getting caught, I guess the cops were like, you guys get out of there, get dressed. And I guess this lady tried to put a cheeseburger on her foot like it was a sandal.
Listen, I've probably done something similar at some point.
Yeah, probably.
You just gotta... Honestly, I don't know how you could make that work, but...
This one man says that his wife was, this is in Beaufort, South Carolina, and a man says that his wife performed in like a music band and they had gotten done with a gig. and she was like a country music kind of singer, and she went to the Waffle House, and the employees threw her out for being dressed too scantily clad. But
Okay.
he says that she was just dressed like a regular like country, you know, cowgirl kind of situation.
Like Daisy Dukes.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. But he says that Waffle House's sign is broken, and so it just says Waffle Ho. So every time he drives by, he calls his wife a Waffle Ho. And she...
How do you get kicked out of a Waffle House for being dressed too scantily?
So crazy.
That's where you go to be scantily dressed.
This is in Beaufort, South Carolina, which is like a really richy, like proper area. Because in Atlanta, they be dressing like hoochie mama, like full on in a Waffle House.
Yeah. I forgot I had a dick, bitch.
I forgot I had a dick, bitch.
I might be dressed like a waffle hoe. But I can't finish that joke. I was trying to think of like, I'm a waffle man. But then I was like, okay, that's not going to make any sense.
This is another Reddit story. It said a guy I was super into took me on a first date to a Waffle House. She says, which was fine because the patty melt and hash brown meal is bomb. But our waitress was rude to me.
Oh no.
Genuinely rude for no reason at all, which pissed him off. But I was like, it's 3 a.m. We're high as fuck.
They went on a first date at 3 a.m.? Okay, that's mistake number one.
He says, we probably were annoying her. Let's just finish our food and leave. Well, this guy proceeded to start a verbal fight with her for being rude to me. Then ended up getting in a fist fight with her where she beat the shit out of this guy and called him a loser and told me I could do better.
Okay, there's so much to unpack here, and there's so much wrong with this story. A, what man is going to ask you out on a date and then take you out on your first date at 3 a.m.? 2, why would you go at 3 a.m.? 3, it's at a Waffle House. 4, you got into a fist fight with a woman. That's like red flag 20. 5,
And
he got his ass beat by
he
you. That's
lost.
like,
She is right. You could do better.
like if you want to narrow down the losers quickly, just run them through that whole scenario.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I think a lot went wrong.
That sounds
here.
like a drunk night after a bar where you meet somebody at a bar and you're like, I'm going to try and mess with this person, but I feel like I should take him on a date first. So you're like, let's just knock it out right here and there.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
That's a sad place to... It's a sad place.
Good for that server, though. I don't know why she was being mean, but...
They said that they were probably being annoying because they were high as fuck.
Yeah.
So, this guy says that he went with his wife pretty late one night to go to a Waffle House in West Midtown Atlanta, and a full tour bus showed up. And apparently it was T.I.'s bus, T-Pain's bus.
Oh, T-Pain.
T-Pain's bus. And someone got out, went inside, and ordered 100 all-star breakfasts.
T-Pain's like, 50 of them are for me.
He was like, these are for me. He was like auto-tuned while he did it too.
And he was like, why is this $300? Wait. No, hundreds of, how many?
100. So that would be like 1,000.
He'd be like, why is this $1,300 now? This used to be $600.
Dude, $600 for 100 all-star breakfasts is a pretty good deal. That same guy said in the same location when he was having coffee pretty late with a buddy, the SWAT team surrounded the entire building.
This is in Midtown?
Yeah, in West Atlanta.
Yeah.
Which is if you don't know West Atlanta, that's where like Bankhead is. It's in a lot of rap songs, The Bluff. I don't know why this guy's eating at a Waffle House on the west side of Atlanta, but I guess a pawn store or a pawn shop next door was being robbed, where there were like hundreds of guns being burglared, and the SWAT team burgled, and the SWAT team surrounded the building to keep people safe. He goes on to say, I guess we know why places that are open 24/7 still have locks. Because they locked the door and kept them in there till the coast was
you don't want
clear.
everybody in there. I guess Waffle House is selective about in the I guess level of humanity. Here's the like shitty part of humanity, and Waffle House won't take the shittiest part of it. Like, you got to be at the bottom of the barrel to get locked out of a Waffle House.
He says, the end of his story says, "I love Waho." See, it's an adventure. It's like a roller coaster ride.
People like the chaos.
I love the chaos. I like going to Waffle House. I try not to.
Not all of them are super crazy. I mean, the ones in like certain parts of Athens weren't as crazy. You know, they were in the nicer parts, but
that downtown one's wild though. After football games, all that good stuff.
For sure.
Another one, I guess Kid Rock in an Atlanta Waffle House rolled in with his posse and instigated a fight in 2007.
I'm not surprised.
Where the guitarist threw the first punch and Kid Rock verbally abused another patron. The victim sued Kid Rock and won $40,000.
Dude.
So if you're looking for a quick buck, just hang out at a Waffle House.
Kid Rock was like, "You forgot how to dick, bitch."
Here's another fun one. The Insane Clown Posse went into a Waffle House where I guess 3 kids, which they described as country kids, started making fun of them and said, "Who are you guys? The Wu-Tang Clan?"
That's a compliment, though.
That is a compliment. And then the Insane Clown Posse, as well as 2 other rap groups that they toured with, turned around, and one of those kids started mocking them. And so they beat him up. They beat the crap out of that kid.
Yeah, the Insane Clown Posse does seem like somebody who would beat a kid up.
Their insignia is the Hatchet Man, and it's literally like a psycho running with a hatchet.
You think they've killed?
I think...
You know, because there's a lot of rap. Within rap in general, there's a lot of, I'm a drug dealer, I kill people talk, but some of it's all cap. But some rappers are legit murderers, are legit drug dealers, are criminals.
I don't know if they killed anybody, but I am sure juggalos have killed plenty of people. Mm-hmm. Not to besmirch the good name of the juggalo community. They're just a rough bunch, so I'm sure some of them have done some things.
Yeah.
You know?
Correct.
Moving on. I think that's all our celebrity. This one story says Waffle House employee tries to be a Superman and goes on a ride of his life. I guess a Waffle House, a couple teenagers dined and ditched and tried to speed off after eating and not paying. And the Waffle House employee jumped on the hood of the car and called 911 while the car reached speeds of 60 miles an hour.
I want to know how that ended. If they got caught.
I think they got caught. But you're paying these guys $3 an hour, and these employees are going above and beyond.
Yeah. You know, to put this in perspective, Chick-fil-A workers, I know they don't get tips, but don't they make $20 an hour or something?
I don't know. A lot of fast food restaurants are paying like $20 an hour now.
Yeah, so to put that in perspective, and also the price of the meals at Waffle House is extremely low. So even if somebody did tip you 20% on every meal, it's still not a lot.
I do know that like the head cooks at Waffle House did make good money back in the day. They got paid like $15 and $16 an hour if you had been there for a few years, which was pretty good back in like the mid 2000s, the mid aughts. Now it's nothing. But
yeah,
back then, I guess a Waffle House waitress hit an unruly customer in the head with a pot of hot coffee.
Okay.
I guess the people had said that, and this is another Beaufort, South Carolina. So I guess the two meccas of chaotic Waffle Houses is Beaufort, South Carolina,
Beaufort.
And Atlanta.
I think it's pronounced Beaufort.
No, it's Beaufort.
Oh, it is?
Mm-hmm. That's where my mom lived. Shout out Mama Worthington. I guess the customer was sassing the Waffle House waitress. And so she just...
Which you don't do.
Dude, I understand.
You do not do.
Most restaurants, you can get up in a server's face and they just have to eat it. Waffle House servers are not those people.
I wish we could bring that energy to every restaurant, though.
Waffle House like waitresses, they himothy. You know what I mean?
He himity.
Animal saw in and out, in and
I
out.
wonder, do you think we should message that guy and ask if we could use that song in the podcast?
I'm sure he'll let us. We'll have to cut this out because no one knows what we're talking about. But anyway, when she was arrested, she had a small amount of weed in her pocket. She went down for possession and assault. But shout out for taking no shit, dude. You try to step correct to a Waffle House employee. I already told you they only recruit from prisons and military.
Yeah.
You can't even knock their teeth out. They ain't got any. You know? Which goes on to one of our next stories, which was
yeah, give us something. Give us who's had a baby in a Waffle House?
Plenty of people.
Who's had a baby delivered?
This story says Waffle House customer reported finding human tooth served in hash browns. So probably there was like a fight. Tooth came out, went in the hash brown mix. That's no big deal. Mm-hmm. This was fun.
Maybe the hash browns are made out of humans.
And I had heard this before, but it's a fantasy football loser has to eat waffles to escape Waffle House. And so a lot of fantasy football leagues, if you're the loser at the very end, you lost the most, you have to do some type of challenge. And the challenge is you have to spend 24 hours in a Waffle House, but every waffle you eat takes an hour off of your time. And this is a story about a guy who had to do it. He ended up spending, I think, 14 hours in the Waffle House. So he ate 10 waffles while there.
Wow. They're pretty big, too.
They are pretty big. He said he got there at 6:30 and slowly started trying to knock down a waffle. Like, I think a waffle every 30 minutes, but just, like, had to take breaks. Because after, like, the 6th or 7th waffle...
I couldn't do that challenge.
Would you go no? Yeah, you couldn't do it. That would be torture for you.
I'd literally be like...
You'd be so... The gluten would be... You would die. We would have to call an ambulance.
I'd be, like, seizing. I'd be blind.
Okay, so we do have 2 fun stories.
We gotta cut that out.
A Waffle House marriage. People get married at Waffle House all the time, but this one was in Evandale, Alabama, where 2 Waffle House employees met each other working there, fell in love,
That's precious.
and then got married at the Waffle House. I will say I saw the wedding.
Precious.
They were wearing Waffle House uniforms, so I'm wondering, were they like on break and they had like their little preacher who was like, I now pronounce you husband and
That is so precious.
I now pronounce you waitress and fry cook.
Waitress and waffle presser.
You may now kiss a waffle. But
you may now cap, smother, and stuff her.
This story, we're going to end it on a high note. An 8-year-old boy named Kayzen Hunter ate regularly at this Waffle House in Little Rock, Arkansas, and discovered that his favorite server, named Devontae Gardner, was living in a motel while he was working at the Waffle House. Yeah. So he set up a fundraiser to try to get money for Devontae Gardner and ended up raising over $100,000.
Oh my gosh.
So he was able to like get a car and like put a deposit on an apartment and move out of the motel.
That's so sweet. Have you ever had a favorite server?
I had one at Waffle House. We had one at Waffle House, and she would custom make anything for us. We would do all these like crazy stuff. We would ask her just to cook for us, and then we actually hired her to come work at the restaurant me and my friends started.
Oh, that's so nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a favorite server at there's this buffet place called Ryan's in my hometown when I was growing up, and we had this server who would always get our family, and he was the nicest man and he was one of the most positive people. He was always in a good mood, always just so sweet, and I always really enjoyed him.
Oh.
We could always request him.
Well, you didn't raise $100,000 for him, did you, Anna?
I suck. Definitely not as cool as that kid.
Pathetic.
Definitely not as cool as that kid. Absolutely not.
North Georgia men sentenced for plot to possess a deadly biological toxin. 2 men, Ray Adams and Samuel Crump, were meeting regularly at a Waffle House, I think in Dahlonega, where they were organizing their plot to attack FBI field offices and murder government employees by creating and disseminating ricin. And I guess people overheard these guys at a Waffle House. They met there routinely, and then I wish they had got arrested at the Waffle House, but they did like a stakeout and recorded them talking about it at the Waffle House.
That's absurd.
Why would you meet in public for your governmental attack FBI biological weapons plans?
Because you're stupid.
This episode's all over the place, and I'm gonna have to just edit it around. I think we're gonna put this one toward up one and the kid back a little bit, just so that it ends on a high note.
Yeah, where are we? How much more we got left?
We got one thing left that we're gonna discuss. Right. Is that FEMA? So you may not know this, but Waffle House is one of the most prepared businesses for natural disasters, according to FEMA. It's in the top 4 with Walmart, Home Depot, and Lowe's, where each Waffle House has a extensive disaster management plan, as well as portable backup generators and like ice on hand and all this stuff just in case, so they can keep it moving in a natural disaster.
Wow, I did not know that.
And FEMA has an unofficial measuring tool for disasters called the Waffle House Index, which they judge how intense they think a disaster is going to be or how devastating it was based off of how many Waffle Houses shut down in the disaster's path area. So like
I have actually heard that before.
Yeah, so they'll look at it and they'll be like, oh, all the Waffle Houses are up after this tornado. It must have not been that bad. That's a low Waffle House Index score.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think like, during the like floods in Asheville, all the Waffle Houses shut down. That's a high. That's a
Yeah, that's a bad sign.
Yeah, if you hear hurricane sirens or anything like that, and then you see your Waffle House is closed, you gotta get out of town, baby. You gotta hunker down.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, do you feel better about Waffle House?
I've never felt bad about it. I never felt bad. I mean, I've had some
good times
at Waffle House. I can't really eat it now, which kind of sucks, but
she mainly goes there to watch the fights.
I buy tickets to the show.
Yeah, she's a season ticket holder for the Waffle House.
But yeah, I got mad respect for Waffle House. They have great social media too.
Hold it down. Keep it up.
Mad respect.
I like the meme that says it shows all the Waffle Houses in like the United States by like density. And so like on the map, if you have like a good bit of Waffle Houses, there'll be like a little stack. If you have like almost no Waffle Houses, it'll just be like one little Waffle House. And then where we live, it's literally like a 100-story tower of Waffle Houses. And then under it says, I live in the tower of Waffle Houses. We are not the same.
Well, it's the birthplace.
Mm-hmm.
It's the orifice in which the Waffle House slithered from.
All right, chickadees. This has been our recap of what makes Atlanta amazing. And one of those things are the Tower of Waffle Houses.
Bye-bye.